hello. Hello, hello. Yeah. Yeah, you go. Hello and welcome to today's NCAA Division III South Regional. Last day of this regional between Randolph-Macon College and Christopher Newport University. My name is Ryan Killay. I'll be bringing today's action from Ting Park in Holly Springs, North Carolina. It's been a great tournament so far, hosted by William Peace University and the Holly Springs Salamanders. Wish the weather had been a little bit more comforting, I guess, with all of a lot of rain delays. The past 3 days have ended after midnight, which pushed today's start time back to 3 o'clock when it was originally supposed to be an 11 a.m. start. But thank you very much for joining us today for this final day. Game number 10. If Randolph-Macon wins this game, it'll be the last game of the regional, and they'll be headed to Appleton, Wisconsin for the College World Series. If CNU wins this game, we'll play Game 11 shortly after. So it should be a great day of baseball. Give you the starting lineups real quick before the national anthem. For Randolph-Macon, Ryan Dufour in center field, Jeff Butler at second base, Cole Migliorini in left field, Rick Spires in right field, Joe Tizzolo at first base, Reese Jurgen, the catcher, Cole Grindy, DH, Michael Nichols at third base, Zach Evans, the shortstop, and Michael Zubovich starting on the mound for them. For the captains, who will be the home team in this game, Jordan Mason in center, Connor Clark in left field, Seth Woodard at third base, John Anderson, the DH, Nick Bayham at first, Craig Johnson in right, Nick DiNapoli at shortstop, Ryan Grubbs, the catcher, Austin Henry at second, and Thomas Packer will be on the mound for the captain. So, kind of interesting what coaches are going with right now. CNU going with their number one, and Randolph-Macon going with a player who has not pitched in a while, but we'll get back to that as we go to the national anthem. And the two coaches, John Harville of Christopher Newport and Ray Hedrick of Randolph-Macon, will exchange lineup cards before we kick off game number 10 of the South Regional. Both impressive years for both these clubs, who've been ranked in the top 25 throughout the year. This will be the fourth matchup between the two teams on the season, with Randolph-Macon winning the previous three. And the old saying as a coach is, it's tough to beat a team this many times in one season. So CNU will be hoping to break up that dominance by Randolph-Macon on the year. Both Hedrick and Harville were Coach of the Year respectively in their conferences. Hedrick coming in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, and Harville coming in the Capital Athletic Conference. Coaches are talking to the teams warming up in the field. CNU has had a couple of late nights. Last night, their elimination game win over LaGrange ended at 1:15 in the morning. previous night, about the same time, their win over TCNJ, and then they came around and played at 3 in the afternoon against Randolph-Macon, where Randolph-Macon won, did 4-3 to advance to this game where CNU had to turn around, having the full Saturday off, and then come back and play, and that game started at 10:45. So, not the easiest way to get to this championship game. But nonetheless, they'll be happy to be here. Ryan DeForn will be leading off for the Yellow Jackets. He's reached base safely in 69 straight games. Quite an impressive task, as any baseball player knows. It's if you reach base safely in 5 straight games, that's a tremendous job. But 69 is incredibly impressive. On the year, hitting .350, 49 hits with 19 RBI. Steps in a left-hander batter's box. And he was a first-team All-Old Dominion Athletic Conference player this year.
Which one are you plugged into? This one?
And the first pitch for a strike to DeForn. Packard trying to catch the outside of the box. Early in the day yesterday, the umpires had a little bit tighter box before opening up a little bit in the evening. The count runs to 2-1. And that's fouled off for a 2-2 count. It will be interesting to see how players attack these pitchers on this day. Obviously, your fourth game for the Yellow Jackets and 5th game for the captains. You never know how pitching is going to be. These teams are very deep, and they've got a lot of great pitchers, but they've also used a lot of people to get to this point. And DeForn grounds it out, and that's an easy play, and 1 down. Jeff Butler stepping up into the right-handed batter box, going against Packard, who did go 7 innings in game 1 of this regional. Takes 2 balls to start this off. Nice pitch there by Packard, catching the outside corner. And he's trying to work quickly, as you can tell, and Butler's kind of playing a little cat and mouse, stepping out of the box a little bit. You can tell Packard gets a sign right away, gets ready to throw, not wasting any time. And Butler's going to drop one into center field, reach base for the first time of the day. Cole Migliorini stepping up now for the Yellow Jackets, and he's one of the premier hitters in the South region, state of Virginia, over the past couple of years. Takes a big cut there, but can't quite catch it. Good placement by Packard, Miglerini, the left fielder, was the ODAC Player of the Year in 2017. This year he was a second-team outfielder, but still had a tremendous season, hitting .367, 62 hits, 45 RBI. And he sends that one past a diving Bayham. And a good job there on the base path by Butler, getting all the way to third. And that throw got away from Woodard, and unfortunately, Miglerini was able to get to second base. Smart heads of play by the senior. And I think Butler's got tore up a little bit on the slide into third, and I think he's just gonna have to get bandaged up a little bit. For those of you not being able to see it, this is a turf field except for the pitcher's mound. So good heads-up play there by Miglerini, getting all the way to second base. And this is a tough part of the order. I mean, obviously your leadoff batter with so many all-conference guys for the Yellow Jackets. But 45 RBIs for Miglerini on the year, and now Rick Spires, the right fielder, who had 49 RBI, and coming up after him is Joe Tizzolo, who had 55 RBI on the year. So they certainly produce a lot of runs, and tough spot for Packard to be in right now. And as I alluded to earlier, they have used a lot of their bullpen, but with to quote a great movie, last game of the season can't hold anything back. So I'm sure everyone and anyone is available in this game. As the count goes to 3-0 on Spires. And he was taken all the way there. Good pitch by Packard, getting it right down the middle. And that's always interesting to see whether or not coaches give the green light on a 3-0 count. I know it's the first inning with one out and runners in scoring position. And nice off-speed pitch by Packard. Full count. But then you get to a situation like this. Would have been interesting to see if Spires was going to take a cut there on a pitch in his area, but checks his swing, safe, and it's going to load the bases for Tizzolo. And Tizzolo was the first-team All-ODAC player at first base. Tremendous year, 375, 60 hits, 55 RBI, 108 total bases. So not the situation Packard wanted to be in this first inning. And he's trying to get Tizzolo to go fishing a little bit, and that ball's in the dirt. Good play there by Grubbs to get it. Grubbs a very solid catcher. Low center of gravity. One of the smaller players in the regional, but he's done a great job for them so far. And with the count going to 2-0 and that pitch missing by a little bit, We're going to have our first meeting of the day at the mound just to talk to Packard, kind of settle him down. You know, during the year, you're not really throwing, this routine, this often in a short amount of time. Going 7 innings on Thursday and then having to turn around and come back and pitch on Sunday. And even in the majors, that you don't see that often. 3 days rest, and not even 3 days rest. Had 2 days off and coming back, but it's done quite often in the college game, especially in these regional situations. Got to ride your best players. And that's inside for a 3-0 count to Zolo. And that's a pass ball. Or, wild pitch it's going to be, but doesn't matter. It's ball 4. Migliorini, there's no point getting a second out trying to score a run. Rather have the bases loaded for Jurgen, who had the game-winning home run yesterday in making the score 4-3 against the Captains. And that's a good pitch by Packard to come back. And you had to think that Jurgen was taken all the way there after 2 straight walks. 1 out, no point in rushing in anything. And that's a good rip through the left side of the infield. Migliorini's going to come in. Spire's right behind him, and he's in. And that's a 2-run single by Jurgen. So a nice start here for the Yellow Jackets. And it's kind of up to Packard to get things going on his own. Just got to settle down here a little bit as Cole Grindy steps into the box of DH for this Yellow Jacket team. Grindy had a tremendous year in only 21 games, hit .385, 15 hits. As he looks at that pitch outside, has struggled a little bit here in this regional, going 1 for 9. I guess a little bit might be a little understatement, but the pitching has been superb here so far, and that's what you always see at NCAA regionals. Many low-scoring games early in the regional. I know one game in the New England regional was 19-12 in the first round, but that's an aberration. Generally, you see the 2-1s, the 3-1s, like you were seeing here in Holly Springs. Couple guys shine offensively, but mainly it's the pitchers. Especially if you look at the Yellow Jackets, 3 earned runs in 3 games. They've given up 5 total with a couple unearned runs as Grindy gets walked. And that's going to load the bases for Michael Nichols. He's also struggled at the plate this tournament, 1 for 8. I'm sure Coach Hedrick would love to see him get on the board a little bit right now. And one of the interesting things as we get a meeting right now with Packard is CNU is the only team that has not had anyone in the bullpen early on in the game. Randolph-Macon has got their pitchers, a couple of other guys there in the bullpen. CNU is the only team that hasn't done it, so when guys get into a little trouble early on, they don't have anyone they can bring up. So that's why Grubbs just called that timeout right there. Let Austin Slaw be able to run out to the bullpen in order to start warming up. Yeah, it's a foul ball by Nichols. Another good rip there by Nichols off Packard. But as the old saying goes, it's a long foul ball. It doesn't matter much. It's kind of like a brick dunk in basketball. People get really excited, but then it's deflating. Bases loaded once again. Nichols called time, but stayed in the box. Interesting move. Count goes to 1-2. Stizzolo, Jurgen, and Grindy on the bases for the Yellow Jackets. Packard really, really trying to get out of this jam. It's already 3-0 Yellow Jackets, and only one out here in the first inning. Another foul ball there by Nichols. Trying to stay alive. And that's through almost through the middle. It kind of stopped. It had a lot of momentum off the bat of Nichols. But that's going to be an error on the shortstop, Nick DiNapoli. And 2 runs are going to score, pushing the Yellow Jackets lead to 5-0. I thought that was through the middle. All the momentum stopped, though, when it hit the ground, and DiNapoli was there. Looked like it could have been 2, and now we got first and third, 5 runs on the board and only 1 out for the last guy in the order, Zach Evans, the shortstop. Well, runner, good play there by Packard. And Tizzolo Grindy goes down. On the fielder's choice, 1-2. And there's now 2 outs. And we go back to the top of the order. Ryan Dufourn back up. Runners first and second, 2 outs. Packard hoping to get out of this without any more damage. Dufourn looking to avoid going 0 for 2 in the first inning. And he does just that, slicing it through the middle of the field. And that's going to be another run. Nichols scoring from second base. And Dufourn gets a single up the middle. And it's now going to be 6-0 with 2 outs. Runners on first and second. I'm sure not the tough way for Packer to start this game. I was talking with Rob Silsby, the captain's SID yesterday during their game against LaGrange, and in the elimination game. And after LaGrange scored, he said, they've given up a run in the first inning every game so far in this regional. But it's tough when you're giving up 6 runs. That's a tough way to come back from. And they've had quite a few wins this year coming back in after the 6th inning, but it's going to be tough in this situation going against such a great team that Randolph-Macon is. 1-1 count here to Jeff Butler. He started things off with a single. And that's a fly ball. It's tough in this sun. And an easy catch for Jordan Mason. So that'll be the end of the first inning. Yellow Jackets score 6 runs on 4 hits and 1 error. And we'll be back with you in a little bit. And welcome back here to Ting Stadium in Holly Springs, North Carolina. Bottom of the first inning in game number 10 of this NCAA Division III South Regional. Captains coming to bat here with Jordan Mason leading off after a very tough top of the first inning, giving up 6 runs. Six runs off 4 hits and 1 error. Not the way you want to start things off. Michael Zubovich on the mound for the Yellow Jackets. It'll be interesting to see how long of a hook Coach Hedrick gives him. He's thrown 34 innings on the year with 5 starts. Mainly those starts coming later in the year as he goes to a 2-2 count against Mason. Hasn't pitched in almost a month. April 26th was the last time
start against St. Mary's. And that's a little bit of a grounder. Easy play for Tizzolo, and good job there by Zubovic to cover the base, and Mason goes down. Connor Clark coming up to bat, hitting .263 at this regional, 5 for 19, 3 RBI. He's played a good left field so far. Didn't think there was much of a check swing there, but the umpire thought so. Check down the third base ump. Good pitch there by Zubovic. In 34 innings. Ooh, great off-speed pitch. I'm talking with great pitch there, fouled off. Good job there by Connor Clark staying alive. Talking with Phil Stanton earlier, the Randolph-Macon SID talked about how CNU really likes to, go after the power pitchers, and it's the off-speed stuff that when you're locating it well and getting a lot of movement, that's kind of what throws them off. And this is the fourth time these two teams have matched up, and that's a grounder against Zolo, and nice job covering by Zubovic. And Clark goes down the same way as his outfield mate, 3-1. And that's what stymied them a little bit in last night's elimination game against LaGrange. Zach English threw 6 innings against them, and lost it in the 7th, but in those 6 innings gave up about 2 hits. As Seth Woodard steps to the plate. Capital Athletic Conference Player of the Year. Batting .286 in this regional, 4 for 14. Big cut there as the count runs 1-2. He has been walked 4 times, so he's getting on base. He's a guy you want to watch out and limit the damage by. For the year, hit .387 with 67 hits. And he checks his swing too. I do like this umpire crew so far. They're really trying to make sure they get the correct calls. Any sort of a check swing, it's going down to the first base or the third base ump, making sure that the right call is made in this game with so many high emotions. And that's fouled off. Last night in the bottom of the 9th inning between CNU and LaGrange, Joe Burris, the captain's closer, hit a batter for LaGrange, and it was close. The guy was somewhat over the plate, and the umps took about 10 minutes to decide whether or not he was over the plate. His count goes to 2-2. And they eventually end up giving a hit by pitch. And then with 2 outs, there's a runner on first and third. Tying run at third base, winning run at first. Grounder was hit to Woodard at third base. Made the throw across the diamond. As he hits a little pop-up here. And that's going to do it here. As Butler makes a catch. But anyway, the umps talked and discussed, and they got the calls right. And that'll be the end of the first inning as the Captains go down 1-2-3. Not being able to cut into the Yellow Jackets lead. And we'll be back with you in a little bit. And welcome back here to Holly Springs. Coming back to you for the start of the second inning with the Yellow Jackets coming to the plate. Cole Migliorini got a single in the first inning through the right side of the infield, just out of Bayham's reach at first. Steps up to the plate, and he'll be going against new captain's pitcher Austin Slough. Slough had 16 appearances in the regular season with a 3.12 ERA, won 3-2, 26 innings pitched. And in this regional, he's had 2 appearances as well. Unfortunately, he took the L yesterday morning against this same Randolph-Macon squad. Threw 1 inning pitch, gave up 1 earned run. Migliorini taking a big cut there, missing that off speed. That's a good hit there by Migliorini into the gap. He's going to get to the wall. He's going to get 2, thinking 3. He'll be able to get there beat the throw out, leading off with a triple. So he's now 2 for 2 on the day. I'm sure Coach Harville is a little distraught with how this game has started. The score is 6-0. But when you face a team with as many potent bats as the Yellow Jackets have, it's not easy. Spires getting a strike called on him as he was looking to lay down a little squeeze bunt here. Takes a second pitch for a strike. I know Slough would really like to get out of this inning without any trouble. It's not going to be easy going against the heart of the order. Spires, Tizzolo, and Jurgen. And that's in the dirt. Tough pitch there for Grubbs to handle. And Migliorini is going to be able to come in there. Be interesting to see how that's scored. Looked like it could be a wild pitch as that hit before the plate. Not an easy play for Grubbs to catch. And that's going to put the score at 7-0. And that's strike 3, catching the outside corner. And I think that threw Spires off a little bit. I don't know if the umpire knew that was strike 3 either, because that was kind of a little bit of a weak strikeout call there. That's one of the favorite calls in sports, is the backwards K and the charge call, probably right up there together. Of the most animated things an official in any sport can do. Tizzolo's count goes to 2-0. Slough really looking to hit the entire strike zone with his curves, really dropping off. Good rip there by Tizzolo. Good defensive play there by Bayham. Steps on first. And there's going to be 2 down in the second inning. As Reese Jurgen, the catcher, steps to the plate. Once again, that big hanging curve. Dropping off every time it comes closer to the plate. And that's a tough pitch to hit. When it's going well, it's not easy. And ball 2 looked like it caught the inside corner, but obviously the umpire's got a better view than I do up here in the press box. Good swing there, but that's going to be almost out of play, and out of play there into the stands. Nice to see that it's finally sunny and not a lot of clouds in the air here in Holly Springs after about a week straight of off and on rain and heavy cloud cover. So beautiful conditions here. Thinks that it just had to be the last day as all the teams have gone back home. (3-1) to Jurgen. It's a big cut, fouled off, and going to be a full count with 2 outs here. Slough looking to get out of this inning with only 1 run of trouble. It increases a whole little bit for these captains. But as I stated earlier, they've come back to win several games throughout the year. And Jurgen looks at ball 4. Cole Grindy coming up to plate. They had to come back to win their last game. Actually, their last 2 wins, they've come from behind to win it. So it's not ideal for any team, but if any team is capable of it, it's these captains. Slough's first pitch is ball. Oh, it's certainly not easy coming back against a team of as talented as Randolph-Macon is. Catches the outside corner. 1-1 count. And that's bounce foul. Like I said, it's tough hitting this off-speed stuff. A lot of movement. You think it's right in your wheelhouse, and then you get a piece of it, and it goes nowhere. And that's strike 3. Grindy goes down. Slough gets out of the inning with only 1 run of trouble. But after 1.5, Yellow Jackets lead 7-0 over these captains in Game 10 of the Division III South Regional Final. We'll be back in a little bit. And welcome back here to Holly Springs. Bottom half of the second inning as Zubovich comes back to work, going against John Anderson, the DH of this captain team. Interesting fact for you, the Yellow Jackets have just completed, an impressive feat. They have not allowed a first inning base runner in the entire regional so far. So 4 games, they've set down the order in the first inning, which is highly impressive considering that you've got your best hitters coming up in that part of the order. So, kudos to this pitching staff. Of course, John Anderson filling in for Brandon Ginch of this captain team. Ginch went down early in the regional, started the first 2 games, got hurt, and Anderson's had to take over. He has done a nice job, though, going 3 for 8 with a walk, so he's done a nice job filling in for Ginch. It's unfortunate that happens. You never want to see it, but he goes down by way of the K. Zubovich, good job catching the outside corner. Ginch swinging on that and couldn't connect. Anderson swinging on that and not being able to connect. Sorry about that. Nick Bayham up. Has not had the best of tournaments either. He's 3 for 16, although one of those 3 hits certainly made a count. As he looks at a first pitch from Zubovich. Had the big 3-run home run last night off Zach English. Zach English had one of the most impressive nights I've ever seen. Zubovich throws a pitch down the middle. He threw 4 1/3 innings of 2-hit, no-run ball against TCNJ to help get LaGrange into the next elimination game. Then came out through six innings, 6 innings, 2 hits against CNU, no runs, and then in his 11th inning of work on the day, he gave up the 3-run home run to the Captains, and then Captains got another run against the relief pitcher and sealed the victory with that. The count goes to 3-1 against Bayham. So Bayham ruined English's tournament and sent him home, unfortunately. Fortunately for him, but fortunately for the Captains. And Bayham's going to get on base, first base runner for the Captains in this game. Craig Johnson, the right fielder, is stepping up, and he's had a tremendous regional, going 5 for 15, 2 RBI. Played great defensively in right field. He's hit 311 on the year. 51 hits. He looks at a first pitch ball that just missed the outside corner, and it really looks like it's so far been a very tight box, tight strike zone. Benefits the hitters. Good off speed there from Zubovich. Johnson looking to crush it, but couldn't quite connect. He has one of the 3 home runs for the Captains in this regional. This count goes to 2-1. Slow roller here. Zubovic gets a play, and it's going to put Bayham in scoring position with 2 outs. So while it's an out for Johnson, it's not a bad one because it does move the runner up. Things could be much worse had it been a double play or something like that. It's going to bring Nick DiNapoli up, the shortstop. I know he'd love to drive in a run there. He unfortunately had the error in the first inning that extended it. Had a chance at a double play. Took a bad hop and couldn't make the play at right behind second base with the bases loaded. And 3 runs would score after that in the inning. So someone's going to want to look to make a play right now. It's going to be Nick DiNapoli as he takes a first pitch strike. Good pitch there by Zubovic. Count goes to 0-2. And that's fouled off. Zubovic really taking his time there on the pitcher's mound. You know, much different than the captain starter Packard and even Slough, who's come in for CNU. And part of that, you know, you talk about the cat and mouse game between the pitcher and the hitter. And it's also one of those things when you have a runner at second base, you don't want them to be able to steal signs or do anything like that. And you want to fake them out, make sure they can't steal third base. He worked much quicker on that pitch than the one before. Naturally, his placement on that pitch was nowhere near as close as the one before, so maybe that's why he's settling down and taking his time. Slow roller up the middle. Evans with it, and he's going to put out DiNapoli. Puts out his counterpart, 6-3, and that's going to end the second inning. Yellow Jackets still with the 7-0 lead after 2, and we'll be back with you in a little bit. And welcome back here to Holly Springs. Michael Nichols stepping to the plate for the Yellow Jackets. Going against Austin Slough. He's coming out for his second inning of relief work. Big hanging curve to start. And he's feeding these Yellow Jackets a steady diet of curveballs so far. Gave up one run on the wild pitch. Good hit, good rip there by Nichols. Nichols reached base in the first inning in his first at bat on the error charge to Napoli that I alluded to earlier. And Nichols goes down. Good pitch there by Slough. And the umpire getting a little more animated on his strikeout call. Interesting there, though, by the captains on the around the horn throwing it away. And you generally don't see that at the college level, but hey, it happens to the best of us. Anytime I see an animated strikeout call by an umpire, I always think, as that's a good rip there by Evans down the left field line. And that's going to be two. Gets all the way to the wall, and nice one-out double there by the shortstop. Anyway, getting back to the animated umpire call, I think of Lieutenant Frank Drebin. Making his calls as doing his undercover work as an umpire. So back to the top of the order. Ooh, that was a great bunt there by DeForn. Fortunately, just rolled a little off the line. Woodard was closing on, but DeForn a lot of speed there. Could have beaten it out. It hung on the third base line and just rolled foul at about halfway down the line. It's a good placement if you can get it. Bring Woodard in. We'll see if he attempts another bunt here. He's not squaring up. And he's going to be down 0-2, so he'll be swinging away on this pitch. Good pitch there from Slough. And that's a grounder right to Woodard. DeForn looking to beat it out, but good play there. Throwing across a dime and getting out the speedy center fielder. So in 3 innings, DeForn is now 1 for 3. It's not often you get 3 at bats in 3 innings. But Jeff Butler also in the same category, and he's 1 for 2 on the day so far. And that happened in the first inning. Had a single that started things off and then ended the inning with a deep fly to center field, where Mason was able to make the easy catch. Once again, Slough trying to get out of trouble here after the one-out double. Couldn't avoid it in the second inning as Migliorini scored on the wild pitch. So he's going to look to keep the captain's deficit at only 7 runs. That's a good pitch. Brings it count to 2-1. Ooh. That's not fun. Looks like it caught Butler on the left arm. He's going to reach base for the second time today. Old HBP, and it brings up Miglerini. This is not the guy you want to see with two guys on. I don't care if there's two outs, 2 for 2 on the day, 2 runs scored. Big curve to start, as I said, that Slav's been given that diet. I'd say 75% curveball so far since he's come in. And there's another one trying to catch the inside corner. Interesting move there by Miglerini. Stepped up in the batter's box. He's going to look at a strike on count now 2-1. And it's popped in the air. Easy play for Mason. And for the first time this afternoon, Miglerini goes down. And the Yellow Jackets fail to score a run in an inning. So good job there by Slough getting out of some trouble. And we'll go to the bottom of the third inning with the score Randolph-Macon 7, Christopher Newport 0. And welcome back here to Ting Stadium for game number 10 of the NCAA Regional. We'd like to thank you for joining in. Ryan Grubb stepping to the plate. Especially like to thank ODAC Associate Commissioner J.J. Nekoloff for listening. J.J. one of the big baseball fans, and he's seen a lot of these teams, especially Randolph-Macon coming from the ODAC, but Christopher Newport plays a lot of ODAC teams, so he follows it. He's also a Cleveland fan, which is unfortunate, though. And Zubovich comes out for his third inning of work. Goes a 3-0 count with Grubbs. Talked a little bit about his how he's one of the smaller players in the regional, listed at 5'6". So he's got one of the smaller strike zones. Not as easy to attack if you're a pitcher. Zubovich gets a strike across the board. Speaking of Cleveland and sports, this brings up as Grubbs fouls it out of play. This brings up a point. People always talk about, not to get into too much of a basketball discussion, LeBron James gets less calls than Steph Curry, and they say, well, James is bigger, so he should get less. And it's the same thing in baseball. You compare, Aaron Judge, who's 6'7", to a guy like Jose Altuve, who's about 5'6". Judge has a bigger strike zone. As that grounder, tough play there for Nichols as that ball bounced off the third base bag, and I thought Grubbs could have gone to second base, but made the smart move, just get on with the single and give the captains a base runner. But yeah, it goes to that where the smaller guys have smaller strike zones, and that's a little bit of an advantage. So you got a advantage to them and disadvantage to the bigger guys. So good piece of hitting there by Grubbs to get on, giving the captains the leadoff runner for the first time today. As Austin Henry, the second baseman, comes to the plate. Henry 4 for 14 so far in this regional. Couple of walks to his credit as well. He's played a very steady second base. Made all 3 putouts in 1 inning yesterday. Made it look easy. Covered a lot of ground, making good plays there as he stretches out of the way there. Henry, the 9-hitter. So Zubovich gets him to hit it down the line. That's going to go foul, out of play. Interesting design of this ballpark, I will say. A lot of foul territory on first and third base lines, but it stops abruptly the further you get into the outfield. Big reason for that is they do play lacrosse here. William Peace men's lacrosse team had their inaugural season this year on this field. As that pitch goes in the dirt, going to bring the count full. So you'll see a lot of plays so far in this tournament. High pop-ups, and so much more ground than you generally see, and guys haven't been able to make plays on it. But Henry's going to get walked, and that's going to bring 2 runners on. First time today for the captains. So Zubovich in trouble for the first time as well. Be interesting to see if Coach Hedrick brings up a guy in the bullpen, and indeed he does. Has not used a lot of arms so far in this tournament. Especially with Mason, the leadoff hitter, stepping to the plate. He is 4 for 20 in this tournament. Love to break out right about now. He's got 1 RBI. As a team, all you can do is chip away. Good off-speed pitch there from Zubovich to catch the outside corner. Zubovich is only the 6th pitcher used so far by Macon in these 4 games. Of course, when you have the ODAC Pitcher of the Year, Colin Selby, throwing a complete game win on day 1. And that's going to be an easy 4-6-3 double play for the Yellow Jackets. Pitcher's best friend, clinical work there from Butler, Evans, and Tizzolo getting that out. And I know Mason's not going to be happy. but you've got Connor Clark coming to the plate with a runner on third, so Coach Harville will be happy if they can get one run here as Clark takes a big cut. No connection. And he's going to go down 0-2. One interesting thing about Butler, and I've also seen this out of Henry so far this tournament, they're playing very deep and alluding to the fact that it is a turf field. The ground's a little bit faster and balls get deeper, and it's easier to play it if you're a little bit deeper in that situation. And Zubovic tries to catch the outside corner. So he's playing in the green of the outfield to get himself lots of room. Clark staying alive with the foul. 0 for 1 on the day. 5 for 20 at this tournament. And that pitch goes high, 2-2. So Randolph-Macon does have a pitcher warming up right now. Can't see the number out there. And that's going to be strike 3, though. Catches the inside corner. And I think you can tell whoever that is up there to, sit down. The services will not be needed yet, as the score remains 7-0 after 3 innings. And we'll be back with you in a few minutes. And welcome back here to Holly Springs. Start of the 4th inning. Rick Spires coming to the plate. And he'll be facing a new CNU pitcher as he looks to bunt his way on, and that went foul. A little off speed and just trying to get on. He did walk in the 1st inning and would end up scoring. And he struck out looking in the 2nd inning in that interesting sequence where he went down 0-2. 3rd pitch, third pitch was a wild pitch where Miglerini scored, and then the fourth pitch was a strike, and no one seemed to know that it was strike three except for Grubbs. And right now he's facing the right-hander Logan Ayler. And that's going to be strike three as well. Ayler catching the outside corner. And kind of, Spires just walking away, can't really do much. Never good to have two backwards Ks in your name, but as I talked about earlier, the way the pitching's been, if you take out that first inning, even if you take out that error in the first inning, this is a 4-run game. As Tizzolo gets a first pitch strike from Ayler. And a second pitch strike. Using both sides of the box. Ayler, one of the fresher pitchers for this captain's team. Only threw one inning last night. Through the 8th. Very nice job, no hits. But that's going to be in the gap, it looks like. Good piece of hitting from Tizzolo. Tizzolo is going to be standing up on second. So Tizzolo's second time on base today. He walked and got an RBI with the bases loaded in his first time at bat. Now Reese Jurgen up 1 for 1 with a walk, and his single in the left field scored 2 runners early on. He takes a first pitch ball. They did a commendable job last night coming in a very tight situation, getting the hold as through the 8th inning, scoreless. He's going to look to keep his ERA at the same mark. His count goes 2-1 against Jurgen. And he hits it to Henry. Henry makes a good play over to Bayham. And it's going to get Tizzolo to third base with 2 outs. Cole Grindy up. Grindy 1 for 2 on the afternoon. 0 for 1. He reached on a walk in the first inning against Packard. And then he had the unfortunate, got out on the fielder's choice when Zach Evans was at bat. Packard made the nice play, tossing it to Grubbs, who tagged out Grindy at the plate. I'm sure would love to drive in a run here and put the game. And that's going to be in the gap. Great piece of hitting there by Grindy to knock into Zolo. Almost the same location as the Zolo's hit. Not as much power, but does the job just as effectively. And we now have an 8-0 game for the Yellow Jackets. Michael Nichols 0 for 2, reached on an error, ended up scoring. in the first inning, and that play, which I thought squeaked through the middle, but ended up taking a funky bounce. Stayed in, but was not able to be handled by DiNapoli. And then he struck out in his other bat looking. One of the 4 strikeouts on the day by this Yellow Jacket offense. Ooh, big cut there. Foul tipped it, but Grubbs. Now count 1-2. And that's a big hit to right center. And that looks like it's going to be in the Yellow Jacket bullpen. Good piece of hitting there by Nichols. One of the deeper parts of this ballpark. Not easy to get the ball out there. And that's going to put the score 10-0 in favor of the Yellow Jackets. So the shortstop, Zach Evans, coming up. Haler obviously pitched very well last night. Fortunately, giving up 3 runs here for the Captains. You know, talked earlier about their ability to come from behind to win games, but you go down 10-0 in a game, it is very, 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 very difficult to come back from. Especially a team as potent as these Yellow Jackets are. Both offensively and on the mound. Three-one count here to Evans. Looking to reach base for the 3rd time today. Fouls that one off into his leg. Reached on a fielder's choice in the first inning. Doubled in the second down the left field line. He'll like to keep this rally going. And there's a full count with 2 outs. Just out of the strike zone, and he's going to get walked, and he'll be on base for the 3rd time. And we'll get back to the top of the order. Ryan Dufourn. His 4th plate appearance of the afternoon. One for 3, but did extend his record to reaching base in 70 straight games in the first inning. And so right now, Joe Burris, the captain's closer, heading out to the bullpen as the timeout was called. Kind of talked to Ayler to settle him down. Joe Burris, 3 appearances so far in the year with 4 innings pitched, 3 appearances so far in the regional with 4 innings pitched. Got a win in 1 game. And he also got the save last night. Seems like a long conversation with the umpire in the meeting on the mound. Fawn, I know, would like to add to this lead. Ayler trying to get out of this jam. Going inside. 3-0 count right now. I'm sure Burris is going to need some time to warm up. Good pitch there by Ayler, just to kind of right across the plate. Dufour taking all away with the 3-0. And that's going to be in the gap as well. Dufour running hard. Evans running hard, and this is going to be a triple. Scoring Evans and putting the score at 11-0. So interesting hitting so far this inning. Every hit so far by these Yellow Jackets have been to the same area, that right center gap. You know, somewhere in between the Christopher Newport, there's a 2 sign out on the Christopher Newport bullpen and 1 on the Randolph-Macon bullpen, and it's been in between that area all 4 hits. But that last hit is going to spell the end of the day for Ayler as Burris is coming in. I think Ayler's laboring a little bit. I think that's why they're taking him out. As Joe Burris warms up, we'll take a quick break. And welcome back here. Joe Burris, a new pitcher for Christopher Newport, as the score is 11-0 here in Holly Springs. Burris' first batter, Jeff Butler. 1 for 2, also reached on a hit by pitch, and he pops that one up. Looks like it's going to be an easy play by Mason. Good job by the center fielder coming in to call off his infielders. Very smart play. You always want your center fielder to take that. And we will go to the bottom of the 4th with the score 11-0. Good job by Burris getting out of that jam quickly. And please stick around as we return to Holly Springs. And welcome back here. Seth Woodard, the Capital Athletic Conference Player of the Year, getting his second at-bat of the game in the bottom of the fourth. Takes a big cut there against Zubovic and can't connect. So it is interesting. You've got Seth Woodard getting his second plate appearance in the fourth, whereas Ryan Dufourn and Jeff Butler for Randolph-Macon have already batted 4 times already today. So it just, without even looking at the score and the statistics, it shows you the difference in the game right there. The Yellow Jackets have gone through the order 1 inning, and they almost went through the order in the previous inning, whereas most guys that have come to the plate in an inning so far is 4 for these captains. Now it goes 2-2 on that pitch in the artificial dirt, came up and popped up and hit Jurgen in the hand, so he's giving himself a little bit of a break. And that's one of the interesting things that, the unwritten rule, kind of the unwritten book of rules between the catcher and the home plate umpires, that if one of them gets hit with something, foul ball, an errant pitch, as that's grounded to Evans, next makes a nice play on the hop and gets Woodard out 6-3 on the play. But going back to the kind of the connection between the umpire and the catchers, one of them gets hit, the other one will go out, give the other guy time. You'll see the umpire brush the plate off, even if he just already brushed it off. Catcher will go out, talk to the pitcher, something to give him a little time. John Anderson, the DH, who's filled in admirably for Brandon Ginch, stepping to the plate, went down swinging in the second inning. Fouls that one off. 1-1 count. Ooh, big off-speed pitch. Lots of movement there. Anderson couldn't connect on that. Great pitch there by Zubovic. Outstanding one. And that's going to go down looking another outside corner. Good looking pitch there by Zubovic. And that's Anderson's second K of the day. He's going to bring up Nick Bayham. who walked in the second inning. He's going to try and continue this fourth inning for the Captains. Swinging at the first pitch, missing. And that ball is ripped. But it's just a long foul ball. 10 feet to the right, and that's a nice home run for Bayham. But fortunately, it was 10 feet that way, and just a long foul ball for the captain first baseman. Ball one, Zubovich trying to go up high, trying to get him fishing. Throw the high fastball. Lots of power hitters see the fastball and go after it. And that's popped up behind the plate and into the Christopher Newport dugout. No harm done there for either team. Count remains 1-2. Good pitch there. Zubovich gets him down by way of the K. Went low and away, and after the third inning when he got into a little trouble, Macon brought someone up in the bullpen, but Zubovich has really shown very well, especially for not having pitched in almost a month. And he gets a 1-2-3 inning through the heart of the order, and we go to the fifth inning with the Yellow Jackets leading 11-0. And welcome back here. Top of the fifth inning. Joe Burris against Migliorini, and slow roller here, and nice job there by Migliorini beating that one out. Just a tough play for DiNapoli. No way he could get to that. Talked about earlier how this is a fast infield with the turf, but when you get a slow bouncer that way, you're playing so deep that it's just tough to get the out in those situations. So Migliorini reaches for the third time. He's now 3 for 4 on the afternoon. Rick Spires at the plate. He one of the that was close on the pickoff attempt by Burris. Haven't seen too many by the Captain's pitchers. But when you're a lefty, it makes it so much easier just to throw over there. Unless you're John Lester and you're having the yips. He's not the first guy to have the yips, and I'm sure he won't be the last. But when you're a major league pitcher and you see it, it can sometimes be sad to see. Spires there, getting the count, fouling off 1-2. He has struck out Look in his last 2 plate appearances. Walked in his first and ended up scoring a run. Scored on Reese Jurgens' single in the first inning. But this won't work out for him either, as he goes down swinging for the first time. He went down looking the last 2 times. But Joe Tizzolo coming up, who's also had a good day for this Yellow Jacket offense. And he rips it hard. Foul. 1 for 2. Reached base on a walk and ended up and had the RBI on the walk because he was walked with the bases loaded. As he goes down 0-2, and he also had the double into the right field gap that started off the 4th inning rally. That one's going to be up the middle, right to Napoli. Steps on the bag and over to first. 6-3 double play to end the top of the 5th. And we will be back with you with the score 11-0 in a little bit. And welcome back here. Bottom 5 in game number 10 of this NCAA Division III South Regional, not final, but Craig Johnson coming to the plate, the right fielder for the Captains, going against Michael Zubovich, who has been very strong today, as he gets Johnson gophering for 1. Johnson grounded out to Zubovich in the 2nd inning in his only plate appearance. Johnson with 4 Ks on the day and only 1 hit. So they've been very strong. And that's going to be an easy play for Tizzolo. An unassisted put out and 1 down. And that's kind of the thing that happened last night against English. The Captains did not make English work. They swung on a lot of early pitches in the count. A guy who throws 4 1/3 innings in a game has a 45-minute break. You'd think you'd want to work pitches on him, get his arm tired. Because eventually, the 6th inning they got some good pieces on him, and then in the seventh inning when they finally broke through, you could tell he was tired, and you think you could have reached him a little bit earlier. So the captain's doing the same thing, swinging early. But a nice piece of hitting there by Napoli, getting it through the right side and getting on base. Only his second hit of the afternoon. And we've got a pinch hitter. Pinch hitter for the Captains, number 8, Brandon Walker. He's had 5 plate appearances so far this weekend. And he's got 1 hit, but it was a big one. 2-run shot. I'm sure Coach Harville is thinking maybe I can get the same one. Zubovich still throwing well and going right at him. So Brandon Walker getting a chance. Ooh, good pitch there. Great off-speed work. It's always tough when you see the batter moving that much and thinking he's going to swing, and it still goes for a strike. Good hit there. Nichols over to Butler, who gets it to Zolo for the 5-4-3 double play. Zubovich's best friend. That's the second time he's gotten a double play today, and really helped out by the defense. Nichols making that good play, good throw across, and Butler turning it perfectly. So at the end of 5, scores 11-0 and in favor of the Yellow Jackets. We'll be back with you in a bit. And welcome back here to Holly Springs. Reese Juergen stepping up to the plate. Leading off the 6th inning. So Walker staying in to catch here for Joe Burris. And then in left field, Connor Clark coming out. Carter Behringer. As Juergen gets walked, Carter Behringer came in, the senior, to play left field for Connor Clark. interesting some interesting fireworks during the middle of the inning. One of the players for the Captains was tossed by the umpires. Just frustration when you're down 11-0 and it's the end of the season. You can't really do much about it, and it's not easy. And it was not Connor Clark. Carter Behringer just came in for Connor Clark just for I believe just to get a senior some playing time in what is looking like the final game of the year for these Captains and the final game of the career for the seniors. Cole Grundy at the plate going against Burris. He gets it up the middle. Good play by Henry. Gets over to Napoli, and Jurgen goes down. Michael Nichols, who had a very impactful day today for the Yellow Jackets. With the game 3-0, he grounded at a weird chopper up the middle that the Napoli couldn't handle. It could have been an inning-ending double play, but instead it led to 2 runs being scored. And then it ended up being a 6-run inning as he pops out to the center fielder. And then obviously his previous at-bat before this one was a 2-run home run into the Yellow Jackets bullpen. Zach Evans gets it out, and it's hit to Mason, dropping fast, but Mason with a good play. Records 2 putouts in the inning, and that's the end of the top of the 6th. Score is still 11-0 in favor of the Yellow Jackets. And we'll be back with you in a moment. And welcome back here. Bottom 6th. Michael Zubovich still on the mound for the Yellow Jackets, throwing very well. Going against Austin Henry, who made a nice play in this previous inning. Get Reese Jurgen, covered a lot of ground into the outfield to get Reese Jurgen at second base on a fielder's choice on Cole Grundy's hit. Pound these ones off. I think if you told Coach Hedrick that, he starts his fourth starter, Zubovich, who hasn't started in a month, and he goes into the sixth inning with a score 11-0, he'd be thrilled. Good hit ball to Nichols, but Nichols across the diamond, and Henry goes down. And it really is amazing. That was Henry's second at bat. And it just shows how well Zubovich has been today, but also how well his defense has played today. That's a second tough play in a row by Nichols. The last inning starting the 5-4-3 double play to end it. And that's a good hit there by Mason, getting the ball off the mound and into the outfield. But that was only Henry's second at bat, and Ryan DeForn, who will lead off the top of the seventh for the center fielder for the Yellow Jackets. It'll be his fifth of the game. It'll be the first time he hasn't, it's gone 3 innings without him batting. Carter Behringer steps to the plate. His first at bat of the game, and his first at bat of the regionals as well. Nice job there by Coach Harville, making sure his senior gets an at bat in what will most likely be his last game. Not to cut corners, but when you're down 11-0. And the ODAC pitcher of the year is able to throw, having not pitched since Thursday. Any comeback would be very difficult at this point, even for a team as skilled and as deep as the Captains are. Ooh. Good pitch there. Looked like it caught part of the strike zone. It was interesting as we went into the seventh inning at about 12:15 last night. Good rip there by Behringer. Getting a hit in his first at bat of the regionals right through the left side. What was interesting, I was sitting with Rob Silsby last night throughout the game, and we got to the seventh, and LaGrange was up 3-0, and he said, if we don't score this inning, this game is over. And first two got on, and then Bayham ripped the home run. He ripped the home run to tie the game, getting English out of there. And then they scored the fourth run as well off of the relief pitcher, Gibson, and sealed the win. So it was that one inning. So I wonder if Rob has said anything like that tonight or this afternoon. Crazier things have happened. It is only the bottom of the sixth inning. For you Red Sox fans out there, we all remember when they won 4 straight against the Yankees, including taking down Rivera. I don't know how that's missing, but it's not missing by much. I feel like Seth Woodard at the plate is thinking he's going to get a strike called against him. Woodard 0 for 2 on the day. Would love to break out of this rut right now. 4 for 16 in this regional tournament, and that's tough for when you're player of the year in the conference. Slow roller goes foul. Talking about a guy that hit 387 with 64 RBI on the year. Here he's gone 4 for 16 with 1 RBI. So a little bit different. But as I alluded to earlier, that's what happens when you get into postseason play. You go against the best in the country, and especially with baseball. And that's a big rip down the line. And that's going to be at least 2 bases. 1 run is going to come in. And Behringer's going to stop at third. So the Captains get on the board. 11-1 now. Only 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. As Mason crosses the plate, Seth Woodard with the big double down the left field line. And it looks like Zubovich is going to come out. A couple guys warming up in there in the Yellow Jacket bullpen. Like I said before the start of this inning, if you told him he'd give up 1 run to this very tough offense in 5 1/3, you'd be ecstatic. Maybe he's not calling anybody in. Maybe seeing if he can get out of this trouble. A lot of talk going on right now. And Zubovich is staying in the game. I think it's a pretty good move. John Anderson's up here. Is 0 for 2 on the day with 2 strikeouts, so might as well have him pitch against someone who he's pitched well against. Good first pitch strike there by Zubovich. That one outside for a ball. It's a 2 on, 1 out. 1 run already across the plate for John Anderson, who was 3 for 8 coming into today. Slow roller. Run's going to get across, but good play there by Butler to make sure that, there's an out as well. But Behringer scores his first run in the regional. Score is now 11-2. Nick Bayham up. I think if he gets anything close to hit, he's going to jump out of his shoes trying to crush it. And it's kind of... I don't think Zubovich... I can't imagine he'll be throwing a single fastball this at that. I'm sure he'll prove me wrong on this pitch, but Bayham loves that type of pitch to hit. Crushed one into left field last night. You just tell he's geared up, ready to try and do the same. That was about as hard a swing as he could right there. Couldn't connect. Great pitch there, right on the corner. The one spot Bam doesn't like, and Zubovich gets out of jam, only giving up 2 runs. So he's gone 6 innings, 2 runs, and 5 hits. And the score is 11-2 after 6 in favor of Randolph-Macon. And we'll be back with you to start the 7th. And welcome back here at the start of the 7th inning. Got a couple of substitutions for this captain team. Andrew Supa coming in at third base for Seth Woodard. As Joe Burris comes out for another inning of work going against Ryan Dufourn. Getting his 5th at bat of the game. 2 for 4 on the day with a triple. Had the big triple to the right field gap that scored a run in the 4th inning. And then which chased Logan Ayler, bringing in Burris. And this is his pitch 2 1/3 already. Big swing by Dufourn. But Andrew Supa, number 34, coming in at third. Good piece there by Dufourn, who gets it dropping over into right field for another hit. Leading Jeff Butler. Having Jeff Butler step into the plate with a runner on. Butler 1 for 3 with a hit by pitch. Scored a run, 2 flyouts to Mason. But the other substitution was Joseph Cutchins for Nick DiNapoli at shortstop. And that's out to right field, and it's going to be another pop fly. And Johnson trying to get Dufourn out. It is always interesting when you have these elimination games that, the teams played so well all regional. And that's a big hit by Maglarini, but another easy play there by Johnson. You've played so well over the 4 games. Your only loss is by a run. And you come into this game and you give up 7 runs in the first 2 innings and 11 runs and then 4 more runs in the 4th inning. And it's just deflating, and it takes the energy out of the park. And as a coach, it's one of the toughest things to do in these elimination games. Is when do you take out your seniors, when you give other people a shot. Spires hits it, but it's going to be a fielder's choice. Cutchin's making the nice easy play to Henry. And as we go to the 7th inning stretch, the score 11-2 in favor of the Yellow Jackets. And welcome back here to the bottom of the 7th inning. As we get a new pitcher for the Yellow Jackets, Patrick Solomita coming in, replacing Michael Zubovich, who was outstanding today in 6 innings, 2 runs on 5 hits, especially considering he hasn't pitched in a month. Just outstanding going against his team. Definitely saw some fatigue from the captains tonight or this afternoon after going through what they've gone through. They've had the late night game. I believe two of the 3 nights, maybe even 3, maybe even all 3, but definitely 2 of the 3 nights they played well past midnight. So, kudos to them. Definitely had a great season, and just playing in a very tough regional where weather affecting everything as well, and Randolph-Macon being one of the best teams in the country. As Johnson rolls it down to Zolo, who gets it to Solomita, and 1 away. Joe Cutchin's coming to the plate. He rips one up there. Evans there. Gets it across the bag, and for the second time, Evans gets his counterpart out on the day, albeit a different one. Nick DiNapoli ended the 2nd inning in similar fashion. Now Brandon Walker, catcher who pinch hit for Ryan Grubbs in the 5th inning. And that's going to be Solomita's day, so it seems like Coach Hedrick's going to use a couple different guys here, kind of use the guys that haven't really pitched that much and, get some people some other action. And that's a luxury you can afford when you have an 11-2 lead and your best pitcher went Thursday, and you can bring him in if need be. Number 46, Tyler Dunn, 14 games on the year. Nine innings pitched with a 2-0 record. So, sorry, just checking all the stats. That's why it took me a little bit long there to say it. Interesting that I've already seen 2 different pitch angles so far in his warm-ups. And it looks like he's going to use every angle possible. Seen some 3/4, seen some sidearm, and I don't know if it's quite a submarine, but it's pretty close. So Dunn going against Walker. Walker came in, as I said, pinch hit for Grubbs and grounded into the double play, which was nice job by Nichols and Butler. Previous inning, and this is a slow roller to Nichols. He's going to have to make a good play. Gets it across the diamond over to Zolo, and that is going to end the 7th. So good job there by the relief pitchers. And we will head to the 8th inning with the score 11-2 in favor of the Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets. Well, hello and welcome back to the 8th inning here. I'm joined this inning by Nick Ross, a local baseball player from Apex Friendship, correct?
Yes, sir, that's right.
All right, well, welcome and join us for this 8th inning action of the NCAA Division III South Regional. Looks like it will be the final game of this region.
Looks like it.
New pitcher here for the captains is Ryan Powell, who got the win last night, coming in for Joe Burris, and a really nice thing before burst this afternoon. When he came off, everybody came out and gave him a hug as Tizzolo sends it to the outfield, and another easy play there for Mason. But it was a real, I don't know if you saw the scene there with the captains, but it was really nice that they all came out and gave him a hug. He is a career leader in saves in CNU history.
As a senior, leaving that way is with your teammates is how you really want to go out.
Yeah, it's tough when you're down 11-2, but when you make it this far, it's still an incredible feat.
And he pitched pretty well this game too. He slowed down the Yellow Jackets' offense after their early runs.
Yeah, he did a great job, and Jurgen coming in, hits it across the diamond. Very nice play there by Supa to get over to Bam, and great pick by Bam. And Cole Grindy coming up. You know, one of the bad things about getting so many at-bats, someone's got to make outs, and Grindy's 1 for 4 on the game.
Right.
And that'll put him at 1 for 5. A simple 4-3 to end the inning. So what's impressed you about Randolph-Macon so far this weekend?
Really, their ability to swing the bats. I think we've seen it throughout this whole weekend, and I felt like they've been in control of every game that they've played. They've never seemed like the moment was too big, and especially early in this game, you just felt like they were meant to be here. They were meant to win this game, and they really showed it on the offense and defensive end so far this game.
Yeah, couldn't agree with you more on that. I was talking with Phil Stanton, the Randolph-Macon SID earlier, as we have a new pitcher for
New pitcher 7, LaChance.
Yeah, the number 7, Daniel LaChance, coming in for the Yellow Jackets. But I was talking with Phil Stanton earlier today, just about how this is a team looking for their first trip ever to a College World Series, and they had a chance 2 years ago. Were 3-0 in a regional and then lost twice to La Roche, and didn't get a chance to go. And you had the 3 big bats in the order: Migliorini, Spires, and Tizzolo were all there, and then a couple of guys who haven't pitched today but have pitched in this regional all were unfortunately not missed that chance. So they want to go. But we'll see what LaChance has coming in for this 8th inning. See if he can keep up the good pitching work that the relief has done. As Austin Henry leads off for this captain team. One of the few starters still in for the captains. Good pitch there from LaChance. His 11th appearance of the year. Not throwing a lot of innings. Only 9 innings and 10 appearances prior to today. And that goes foul for first strike. Now, Nick, you were telling me you played first base for Apex Friendship.
That's right.
How has the first baseman played today so far? as that's a strike 3, which I believe it was.
Tizzolo, he's really had a great weekend, I think, here at the South Regional. He homered, was it yesterday? Hit it off the scoreboard. He has a lot of power, can hit it all over the field, and haven't seen him have any errors there at first base so far, just doing his job. And obviously we already said he's one of the big 3 hitters here on the Yellow Jackets team, and he's really just shown himself to be a leader on this Yellow Jackets team throughout this regional.
Yeah, he definitely had a shot, too, at being ODAC Player of the Year. And just as we talk about it, another play made look easy, as you know.
That's right.
As Mason goes down, most likely be his final at bat of the region, going 1 for 4 today. And we will get another pitching change here for the Yellow Jackets. That's number 8. Tommy Barron. 14 games on the year, 22 innings with a 2-1 record.
Number 8.
So, I do like this move by Coach Edrick.
Right, it's nice to see, especially guys who haven't pitched as much this year. Well, they're getting a chance to pitch that they normally might not be able to, and then also just getting more experience, more innings pitched before it looks like they'll move on to the
College World Series.
World Series. That's right. And having that depth and that experience in the bullpen is it's invaluable as it gets late in the year.
Yeah. And all these relief pitchers, I mean, they haven't thrown, no offense to these guys, they haven't thrown any of their top guys today. And I think that's going to bode well for next week in Appleton. You can rest your guys, give them a few extra days, and without this, without using your big guy today, you can, maybe throw them a little bit more when you get up there. I think it'll be interesting with this being their first trip, more than likely. See how they do up there. Going into the year, D3Baseball.com talked about how the South Region has not won an NCAA title in 19 years. So with their depth, hitting and pitching, it'll be interesting to see if they can do it.
Certainly they've put themselves in the right position to be able to compete in Appleton this year.
Absolutely. And they may not be the only ODAC team going, as Virginia Wesleyan is still alive in their region. Although they've got some work to do. I believe they're in the Mid-Atlantic region up in York, Pennsylvania. But they're behind today because they had the rain was unplayable. And we know all about that.
Right, yeah, this whole weekend it's been a lot of rain, but fortunately with the turf field we've been able to stay on time for the most part with a few delays.
Yeah, it's one of the things that makes it difficult because it's a rainy time of year and you got to have backup plans. Christopher Newport hosted in 2012, and the first day and a half was real beautiful. As Barron gets a K to end the 8th inning, Behringer going down, swinging, and led to the ninth inning. But yeah, Christopher Newport was hosting. It was sunny the entire time, and sunny the first day and a half, and then the weather opened up, and they, luckily had a nice agreement with either William and Mary or ODU. I'm not sure who it was, but they had a turf field a little bit further away, and so they were able to use them and use the lights. We'll have a new pitcher here. Interesting move what the captains are doing. Craig Johnson moving into the pitcher from right field. And I believe that's number 18. Number 18, Eric I don't know if that's correct. And it'll be number 18, Eric O'Brien in right field, the freshman. I mean, John Anderson's day is done. Michael Nichols up to bat here for this Yellow Jacket squad. And this will set a new school record for the Yellow Jackets with this win this afternoon. So quite an impressive year for them. Been ranked in the top 25 all year. And the only time they got unlucky was in the ODAC tournament. Played Shenandoah, who rolled through the tournament and then won their opening game in their regional, and then they ran into Roanoke as well, who was top 25 team that just missed out on a at-large berth. Good job there by Walker, as Nichols goes down for the second time of the day by way of the K. Zach Evans swinging on the first pitch. And Johnson has looked good so far in his limited work on the mound.
Right, even coming in from right field, looking strong in his first two batters.
Oh, that's going to get through right up the middle with the single. First change here. For the Yellow Jackets, number 6. Devin Strickler gets it through the right side with his single. And just as we talk about, the old curse of the commentator, talk about Johnson pitching well and gives up 2 singles in a row. And it's not like it gets easy from here. You got Butler, Miglerini, possibly. I mean, I can't see if Spears and Tuzola will come up, but nice job there. 1, 6, 4, 3, double play. Johnson coming off the field, big hug with Walker. Very great to see all these seniors coming off. Big hugs by all these guys. It's last time they're gonna be on the field together. And it is tough when it's this type of inevitability, when it's you're down 11-0 after 4 innings and you're just like as number 14 Colin Moore steps on the mound for the Yellow Jackets. As we approach this last half inning of the NCAA Division III South Regional. It will be impressive to see what I've been very impressed with what they've done so far, and it'll be interesting to see what they can do in Appleton.
Right. And as that comes up next weekend and all these regionals are coming to a close, the competition just gets tougher as we all know. So it'll be interesting, even after a tough regional that they managed to go by unscathed. It'll be interesting to see how they compete on next weekend in Appleton.
Yes. And I think what benefits them the most is the pitching. I mean, every guy they've thrown out here this weekend has been highly impressive. And in that time, they've given up a total of 7 runs with only 5 earned. So anytime you have that over 4 games, that's a good day. As Andrew Supa steps to the plate for his first at-bat of the game. Got a hit in his only other at-bat of this tournament. Knocks it out there. Easy play for Spires, excuse me. Eric O'Brien, the freshman, getting an at-bat. No one else is warming up in the Macon bullpen. So this is definitely going to be the last pitcher of the day unless something crazy happens. I think Coach Hedrick will be very happy to have seen how well Zubovich did. What a play there. Wow. What a play by Butler. I thought Evans had a chance to get to it, but somehow it squeaked by. Butler covered. I mean, that's a ton of ground to cover in his place. And gets it across the diamond.
From his knees, too.
It's one of those, if you're O'Brien, you just tip the cap. There's nothing you can do there. Nick Bayham with a good rip. It's his first hit of the afternoon. Good drive into left field. Been on base. That's his second time on base after getting walked. And now Craig Johnson just came in to pitch. Come up. And this is a tough one for the senior. Like, you've already come off the mound. You've gone through that emotion, and now it's like, all right, you got one at bat left in your career. Little cloud cover has rolled in here. Good pitch there from Moore to catch the outside. And that's a pop-up. That could be the final play of the game. A nice catch by Nichols. Gloves are flying. And the dog pile will ensue. Everybody coming in. Kids are joining the dog pile as well. And congratulations to the Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets. 2018 South Region champions. 11-2 victors with no losses at the region. 11-2 victors over Christopher Newport University captains. Great season to the captains as well. Someone had to lose, unfortunately, and they made it. They had a great season, ranked top 20 all year long. Fortunately, they ran into this Yellow Jacket team that took them down. As teams go through handshakes after this game. Well, we'd like to thank you all for joining us for this weekend. It's been a tremendous weekend of baseball, and thank you for sticking with us through the rain and all the delays. We hope you had a fun time. We'd like to thank the NCAA for allowing us to host this regional, and best of luck to the Randolph-Macon Yellow Jackets in Appleton. Thank you very much, and have a great day.